So why is a Tesla guy talking about Porsche? Stick around and find out. Alright, good morning everyone. Welcome to the vlog. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Matt Shoemaker. We discuss primarily Tesla and the Model 3 in particular, but also I build technical projects, little electric go-karts, electric bikes, that kind of thing, and I occasionally do videos on those. So this is a channel just devoted to electric propulsion and primarily Tesla vehicles. So today's topic is the Porsche Taycan. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not. You can correct me in the comments section below. It was previously earmarked as the Mission E. And today's video, I just wanted to give you my take on the Porsche and why do I think they're dipping their toe into the EV market and what this represents. First off, I have to say that I'm obviously a Tesla guy. I love my Model 3. I love the Model S. I just couldn't afford one. And so I have a soft spot in my heart for electric propulsion just as a whole. I've been manufacturing high-end electric drive systems for bicycles and complete high-end electric bikes for some time now. I used to manufacture electric radio-controlled helicopters and used to race electric RC cars, and electric propulsion is, I believe it really is the future, and I think that's becoming more and more obvious even to the die-hard gas vehicle aficionados that are out there. And so I want to start off by, in my opinion, of the Porsche electric sports car by saying that I love it. I'm very, very happy that they're doing this. And a couple of points need to be made. First, right off the bat, let's give credit where credit is due. Tesla is the whole reason that Porsche is building that car. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Tesla is responsible for making electric vehicles sexy and attractive. And when the Roadster first came out, the first-gen Roadster back in 2008, I was thrilled to death. Now, it was way, way, way above my pay grade to afford one, so there was I figured there was no way I'd ever have one, even used, because even half of $100,000+ was totally unattainable for me. So, but I was thrilled to see the car come to market, because being that I had been into high-end electric RC cars and RC helicopters, I knew that that electric propulsion really was the performance direction that vehicles should take. And I remember the first electric RC car that I had when I was a kid was 12 years old, I believe, at the time, and I had a Tamiya Frog, 10th scale RC car. For those of you that are RC car guys in your 40s, you'll remember that car. And so I was ill for a year and couldn't do much actively. I used to have dirt bikes, and so my parents wanted me to get into some technical hobby that wasn't hazardous, so I got that car. Could not believe the extreme performance that was available and with electric propulsion, and that was with a brushed motor and NiCad batteries. Well, fast forward a few decades, and was running RC cars with brushless motors and lithium polymer batteries, and the performance was about triple what I was getting out of that early RC car. But even as a kid, I thought, why can't they do this with full-size cars? Put a big battery and a large electric motor in a full-size car, because the off-the-line torque was just mind-bending. Well, then as I got into the brushless motors and lithium polymer batteries, it was just, I thought, you know what, this is the way to go. And I remember doing the math. This is about 12 or 13 years ago, doing the math of what would it cost to set up a full-size car with lithium batteries, and what would a scaled-up brushless motor cost? Well, I very quickly realized that the battery would have been $250,000, and it just wasn't possible for anyone other than the the most wealthy individual. Well, then there were a couple individuals that built one-off super high-performance electric cars, and one of which was a gentleman that took an Ariel Atom. For those of you that don't know what an Ariel Atom is, Google it. It's an exoskeleton car, and with a rear engine, and just very, very high performance car. And there was a gentleman that, I don't remember what he called the car, but converted one of those to electric. I think he spent $80,000 just on the brushless motor, and another $180,000 to $200,000, if I remember correctly, on the battery pack. Essentially a scaled up RC car. And his claimed 0 to 60 time was, I think it was 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds, and just mind-bending. And so it was obvious, even going back, decades ago, that electric propulsion, if scaled up, could have extreme performance. And then going back a decade ago, people started to scale that up to full-size vehicles. And when Tesla made the Roadster, I was absolutely enamored with it, and read up everything that I could, and the number of cells they were using and all of that. And now, as Tesla has grown the performance sexy EV market, we've got other manufacturers that are following suit. And so we come to today's topic of the Porsche Taycan. A beautiful car. I love the design aesthetic. It is very close to the 918 Spider, which is Porsche's halo car. And really the pricing is actually quite good for what you're getting. Let's look at what Porsches cost, just their normal cars, a 911 Turbo, or just any Porsche vehicles. They're generally in the high end, $100,000 range, and so the Taycan starts at what they're saying it's going to be about $80,000, $85,000 to start, up to $130,000 and above for the performance version that, ironically, they're calling the Turbo. No turbocharger on an electric car, but that's Porsche's name for their performance vehicles. So, and you compare that with Tesla. Now, a performance Model 3 is about maybe a few $1,000s cheaper than the base model Porsche EV, and yet the performance figures look similar. However, Porsche hasn't said what the performance figures are for the base car. They've only announced performance figures in general, and that may only be for the highest performance variant. They've said 3.5 seconds 0 to 60, very close to the Model 3 performance. 310 miles of range, exactly what a long-range Model 3 has. But again, that may be for their high-end vehicle only. Now, I'm thrilled that Porsche is doing this. What it does is it validates Tesla's mission, which is to accelerate the adoption of electric transport. And I really believe that is happening. Now, Porsche is they're a high-performance company, and they are obviously in it for the profit. Tesla is in it for the profit. Whether we want to admit it or not, a lot of people say, well, they're just there to accelerate, EV adoption. Well, that's their mission statement, but let's face it, they're a for-profit company as well. Porsche wants to make a living, Tesla wants to make a living. So I'm thrilled that Tesla has been making a large impact. The Chevy Volt, not the Bolt, they're all electric car, but the Volt is a direct result of the first-gen Tesla Roadster. So Chevy developed a car because of Tesla's existence in the market, and now Porsche is following suit. And for those of you that are upset that Porsche is releasing a higher-end, more expensive EV, and that we should have a more reasonably priced car, first off, Porsche doesn't make reasonably priced cars. They are in it for the style, for the performance, for the prestige, and so don't expect a basic car from them. But there are other auto manufacturers. The new Nissan Leaf is a very good car. The Chevy Bolt. We've got other short range or moderate range EVs that are coming out that are reasonably priced, and longer range EVs as well, that the price is coming down. And so it's not Porsche's job to release a a basic car into the marketplace. Now, let's be happy that this isn't Ferrari, because Porsche is, their price point for the majority of their cars is far lower than, Porsche is a sports car maker, Ferrari is an exotic car maker. And so if Ferrari was making an electric car, I'd be thrilled about it, but very, very, very few people can afford one. The Porsche, well, whoever can afford, let's say, a P100D could afford the high-end Porsche. And there are a lot, I see a lot of P100Ds on the road in my area. So, and yet very few Ferraris. So I'll say that Porsche coming into the EV market is wonderful because they add more credibility to EVs being sexy and high performance, which really will drive the popularity of EVs forward further. It will drive the popularity of more standard EVs, because what it's doing is it's taking the electric propulsion model and moving it. It is pushing it forward and making it more desirable. There are many people out there that hate Tesla but love Porsche. And so I believe that Porsche doing this, dipping their toe in the waters of the EV market, is really, it's going to do a lot of good for the EV industry as a whole, including the more reasonably priced EVs, those $30,000 EVs that most people would be looking at purchasing. So that's my opinion. I love the Porsche Taycan. I love the design. In fact, when I get my Roadster, if I can't afford to keep it, if I have to purchase too large a chunk of it because I haven't gotten enough referrals and I have to sell it, the Taycan is one of those cars that I'd be looking at stepping into as I step out of the Roadster. I'd love to keep the Roadster, but if I can't afford to, then the Taycan might be another option. The biggest concern that I have is, and I know those of you that started watching this video have been waiting for me to mention it, supercharger network. I would say the biggest strike against Porsche is that Tesla has the supercharger network. And I really believe that if Porsche wants to push their EV market forward, their market share forward, they're going to have to either lease the use of Tesla's supercharger network, which many of you may not know, but Tesla made that offer to auto manufacturers when they started building out the supercharger network. They said, hey, if you want to lease the use of our charging network, we're open to it. And if Porsche were to do that and use the supercharger network, I think that their EVs would really gain traction, and the popularity of them would be higher than it's otherwise going to be. And that would actually be my main reservation in purchasing an EV from anyone other than Tesla, is because Tesla has the charging network. Ultra brilliant of Tesla to do that. It was super expensive. This is the whole reason that they were, or the main reason that they were losing money for so many years, was building out the infrastructure, factories, but the charging network as well. And I've taken this car on 2 interstate road trips, and using the supercharger was great. Definitely less convenient than a gas station, but cleaner, and really wasn't inconvenient enough to discount using it for travel. So anyway, that is my take on it. I want to hear what you guys have to say, what you think of Porsche's EV, and what your take is on the EV industry and the direction that it's going as a whole. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and as always, my referral code will be a link in the description below. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day now. Take it easy.